Hello everybody. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a few ways about how you can start to cut anger out of your relationship with your child. So my name is Jen Harrison. I am the author of the children's book Just As You Are, and I'm also a coach to parents who want to help reduce their child's anxiety. And today I'm going to talk to you about how you can start to take anger out of your daily communication with your child. So if I look down, it's because I have some notes here for you. I don't want to forget anything. Thanks for joining me live. So I'm going to be looking at my notes throughout this little session here with you. So how can you start to notice the anger that's already in your relationship with your children? I often get asked, how can I stop being a shouty mum? That's something that I get asked. How do I not be a shouty mum? How do I stop treating my child in the way that my mum or dad spoke to me? How do I not be that parent? These are not my words. These are words that women come to me with and they ask me for help. So there's a process, actually. There's a lot of learning involved in how to have a more conscious, happy life. We have to work on our own feelings and our own emotions. But there are some things that you can start to do right now today before you would even look at going off and learning some other stuff. By the way, if you are interested in learning right now and you've got some stuff going on at home and you're just at the end of your tether and you want things to change, do drop me a private message after this session here today, because I am about to open up a new way that women can come and work with me and take this learning to a much deeper level with more ongoing support for you. So if that is of interest to you, don't go now, but after we finish here within the next 5 to 10 minutes, do go ahead and drop me a private message if you think definitely I would like to know more about that. So firstly, you can begin with noticing your anger. Sounds really simple, doesn't it? But here's the thing, is a lot of people in this world actually throw anger around. So they're shouting, they're yelling, and it's actually a really normal part of their day-to-day living. And it used to be normal for me. Anger used to be, anger, shouting, used to be a part of my day-to-day routine. Growing up with my mum, and if she was here, she is still alive. I mean, if she was here on this Instagram live, she would come and say to you, yeah, that was how we interacted. And that went into my 20s. It was very normal to shout at each other. There was no conscious interaction. There was no empathy, no understanding of feelings. It was just one big heap of confusion and heap of heated arguments. I'm sure many of you can relate as well. So notice it. Notice the anger that is in your house right now. And that's the first step. Becoming conscious of the fact that anger is a regular part of your daily interaction. Maybe for you, you have at least weekly arguments with your partner. And some people would say, well, that's just normal. It doesn't have to be. If it's not making you happy, it doesn't have to be your normality. Side note. And if it's a normal way of you interacting with your kids, that doesn't have to be the way that you interact either. Really, anger is just a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism. So my first suggestion is notice your anger. So right now, today, and for the rest of this week and onwards, notice it. Be aware of it. Yeah, this morning I got angry. Yeah, this morning I shouted at my daughter. Yeah, this evening I shouted at my son. Yeah, okay. And you start to notice it. Because it's only when we become consciously aware of something that we're doing, can we then change it. So we have to first start to notice it to be able to start changing it. So that's your first step. Start noticing your anger. Become aware of it. Okay? If you're just joining live, I'm talking about how to start cutting anger out of your relationship with your child. Okay? Secondly, notice how you feel in your interactions with your kids. How do you feel when you're talking to your son? How do you feel when you're putting your daughter to bed at night? Do you know, most women, and so maybe you can relate to this, a lot of mums say to me, bedtime is a bit of a nightmare for them. Bedtime and school mornings. And one of the reasons for that is that mums and dads, but I predominantly coach women, they're maxed out by bedtime. They're tired, they're emotionally drained, and the children are as well. And so bedtime routine becomes a bit of a nightmare. Excuse the pun. So, firstly, notice your anger on an ongoing basis. Become more aware of it. Secondly, notice how you feel when you're talking to your children. So why is that important? Well, your children, especially if they're highly sensitive, which remember just means that they're really acutely aware of other people's emotions, they're acutely aware of their surroundings, they tune into things very deeply. You can't really get away with this stuff with highly sensitive kids. So it's really important how you feel, because your daughter's picking up on it. When you're talking with a tone, your daughter's picking up on it. When you're feeling anxious or angry, it shows all across your face and your daughter senses it. And then that impacts how she feels, and it impacts the connection that you guys have, which adds to her anxiety, and it's also adding to your anxiety because you're not feeling happy either. Have a sip of water. So my third tip then would be make a simple choice to cut it out. Notice the anger and notice how you feel, and then choose if you want to make a conscious decision to cut it out, or at least to begin with reducing it. Because when we become consciously aware of something that we're doing, we can decide if we want to change that way of living. Tap the hearts if this is resonating with you. Give me a colourful heart if you're like, yeah, this is something that I could work on. Why is this important to you right now, this information? Why is this not for next year? You know, we're nearly in 2020. Why is this important for you watching this right now today? Because right now today, if you have anger in your relationship with your child, if you're feeling angry on a regular basis, your child's anxiety and lack of confidence is likely to be, their anxiety is likely to be high. How you feel and your level of anger is impacting how your children feel. Okay? So it's important for you right now to hear this information, This is important information for you to hear right now today. And as I say, if you think I really need more in-depth help with this, when I finish in the next few minutes, drop me a direct message and let me know that you would like to know more information about my upcoming new way to work with me on a longer term basis, so that I can hold your hand a little bit, not to do the work for you, because this takes effort. You know, I put a lot of effort in myself to learn this stuff, but I will support you. So when I say hold your hand, I don't mean do the work for you, because that's not what I do with people that I coach, but I would support you in your learning. So drop me a message in a moment if you'd like more information on that. How can you start to do this today with your children? Making this change by cutting anger out. Notice the anger, and if you want to, begin to let your children know about the times when you are angry. So what this would look like is, this morning when I dropped you off at school, I shouted at you as you got out of the car. You would not have felt very cared for by me when I shouted at you, and that was my mistake. Last night when I put you to bed, I shouted at you as I shut the bedroom door. You wouldn't have felt cared for by me when I shouted at you. That was my mistake, and that's something that I'm working on, reducing my anger. So can you see how it's taking responsibility for your emotions? It's your anger. It's my anger. If I get angry at you, it's nothing to do with you. It's my anger. My anger is information about how I feel today. Nothing to do with you. So that's my little top tips for you today. Say little, they're pretty meaty tips. They really will change the way that you interact with your kids, and they'll change how your child feels. And I know this because I hear time and time again from mums who choose to start to do this work and start to speak to their kids in this way, and their children's anxiety reduces. They start to feel way more connected to their parents when their parents start to work on things like their own anger and the way that they speak to their children. Side note, it's not your fault, by the way. There is no blame around this. You likely were not taught this stuff. I didn't know this stuff until I was in my early 30s. I'm 37 now. I spent my life up to my early 30s not knowing some of this stuff that I'm talking to you about today. So there is no place for, woe is me, aren't I a bad parent, aren't I a bad person? No, you just didn't learn it because nobody taught you. But now there is an opportunity to learn, and that's where your responsibility and your choice would now come in to going to learn something differently, because when we are aware that there's a different way to live, it is our responsibility, whether we live in an old way or whether we choose to live in a more happier, peaceful way. So yeah, that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I'm going to be back tomorrow with some more top tips like this for you. And as always, you can check this replay out for the next 24 hours. And if you would like, yes, it will be up for the next 24 hours. I might also put it on IGTV if I can as well. And as I say, if you'd like more information on how you could go into this work in a much deeper way, on a more personal level, because it would be me teaching you personally, with all the things that you have going on, drop me a direct message and I will be able to send you the information over in the next few days. Take care, everybody, and I will be back same time. No, probably won't be same time. I'll let you know what time it will be tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye.